My name is Delaney Bruning, and this is my Persuasive Speech.
Paige Johnson,
Kayla Holder,
Haley Hansen,
Abby Hilmer,
Cade.
Who believes athletes should be held to the same standards as other students? Some people agree to disagree. Athletics are important to the majority of high school students. Sports are their motivation to achieve academically or get an education. Only a small percentage of high schools in the United States have attached a minimum GPA to their academic requirements for athletic eligibility. In addition, there is a 90-day rule that does not allow students to transfer schools mid-season and play varsity sports. People have many different opinions on whether or not the rules should be enforced or not. High schools should enforce athletic eligibility because it teaches commitment, responsibility, and helps attendance. High school students can learn a lot of commitment through sports. Students are dedicated to their teams and want to accomplish marvelous goals together, but are they loyal? Student athletes are more likely to go to a school that will make them look better for college scouts. When students transfer due to athletic reasons, it causes their old team and new team problems such as penalties. There are many situations where students try to switch teams mid-season to either be recognized or help another team win. But why mid-season? The athletes have committed to their team at the beginning of the season and should be required to stick with it. Students need to understand that once they have joined the team, that is their team no matter what, win or lose. Nebraska has a 90-day rule. This rule includes transfer students must sit out of all varsity sports for 90 days after the transfer is complete rather than play right away. So if you don't live in the district, this rule applies to you. A lot of people disagree with this rule. Parents think that they should not be penalized for transferring schools. In the end, it protects the school and the team because they do not know if the student is transferring due to athletics or academics. If schools were to let students transfer and play sports right away, students could transfer just for that season or at the end of it and not be penalized. That would be unfair to all the other teams. Once the season starts, that is a team that you were on. Responsibility in addition to commitment is another good point to enforcing athletic eligibility in high schools. Enforcing athletic eligibility will increase responsibility in students. Responsibility is sometimes tough for high school students, but in order to participate in their sports, they must gain a little knowledge about it and how to balance it. Students should be able to maintain their schoolwork and still be involved in their sports. When schools started to eliminate the GPA requirements, it angered many people, including many students. Most people would say that playing a sport is a right to be earned. They raised the level of expectations, and students met those expectations, said Roger Blake, Executive Director of California School. Students think that they can get past with the bare minimum in schools and still be able to play. A lot of people believe that should not happen. Some students do not like the requirements because they do not want to put work in to be successful. They want to do their sports and not have to worry about anything else, and that is not cutting it anymore. One high school in Alaska has a requirement of a 2.5 GPA to be able to participate in their sports. Of 125 schools, 23 of them said that their athletes have no Fs after having to enforce this rule. If It is a student's responsibility to maintain their GPA and still be able to play. In order for students to play, they have to step up to the plate and be responsible for their grades and their attendance. Attendance and grades are very important in order to be involved in a school sport. Attendance in school seems to be higher during the time of a year when students are involved in their sports. Athletes are more likely to show up to school during their season because if they do not come to school, they cannot attend practice or attend a game. Teachers have noticed an increase in grades as well due to the fact that your grades have to stay high enough throughout the season to be able to play. Teachers see students who usually do not try in their class begin to try and sometimes are smarter than even thought possible. It is great that students step up to the plate when it's necessary so they can be eligible, but it shouldn't be only during their season. If schools were to enforce athletic eligibility, schools would start to see an increase in their grades. High schools should enforce athletic eligibility because it teaches commitment, responsibility, and helps with attendance. Commitment can bring knowledge to a student and will help show who is really in it to win it. Sports help students understand things on a certain level. During a student's season, their grades usually increase. It gives them motivation to achieve in school if they get to play. If more schools enforce the rules, teams and students will do better in school and have a fantastic season due to great motivation.